Hey guys, it's Bridget and I am here at Jeff and Jon's house, taking a little break, catching my breath because this baby's making me breathless. And we're gonna do a May garden tour, but before I do that, I wanted to reintroduce these guys just in case you were like, wait, who are they? So who are you guys?
You tell me. Who am I? I guess I'm a gardener at heart. When John and our wives and I moved in here with our families, we just reached out and we met Bridget. We just kind of hit it off, started doing projects together, and now we're a part of the team. We're family, we're friends. They're
totally addicted to gardening. I've seen their whole space get transformed from just kind of a boring lawn into a space that I'm really actually jealous of. When are you guys gonna come over and make my space look like this?
we don't have enough time to keep this up.
I know. But they're a really good example of an urban garden that just looks amazing and offers a little bit of everything. My garden tends to be very based on functionality. It's very linear. It's very much based in productivity. And I don't have an eye for aesthetics. Their garden is beautiful and melds together sustainability, edible gardening, flower gardening, and beautiful Southern California living all in one. So I'm excited to share that with you. And you're definitely a part of it as well. So
yeah, I'm part of the crew here. I live with Jeff. But we have wives. We are not married.
But it's separate floors.
Yeah.
It sounds a little weird when you guys are like our wives. They have one separate wife each.
Yeah, we don't share a wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No sister wives.
One man, one wife, times two.
Okay, one floor. Like a duplex. There you go.
Enough about our odd situation. You guys should try it. Seriously, it's been great.
It's a commune. It's amazing. And so yeah, let's do another tour. And while I'm taking some time for the baby, you're gonna see more of these guys because they have really awesome, rad ideas, and their garden space might speak a little bit more to what you guys have. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just taking a few more naps these days. So let's go check out the garden.
We've been taking naps too. We're not even pregnant.
Cool. Let's go. So we're in May, and look at these killer tomatoes. People in other zones have to be drooling right now. When did you start these? What are they? And also, what is this super rad contraption you have?
Okay, 3 questions. Here's 3 answers. We started them, I think February 1st. I know it was February. We started them inside, hardened them off, brought them out, put them in the ground, and then these are determinate tomatoes, hence the cage. We're not doing 1 liter straight up. And these cages are actually built by John and I.
So cool.
We came across this idea on the internet. We put it together, and actually, if you stay tuned later this month, we've got a full video on how to build them. It really, like, we have done tomato cages. Like, you standing next to this, I feel like you're about to rip it out of the ground and throw it across the yard. But we had to do Romas in cages because that's all we had.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna get more airflow, more space.
And I don't know if you can zoom in and see how cool this is. It's actually 2 different pieces, so that means that this is gonna be way easier to store in the off season.
Oh, of course.
Which
or just
is
leave
so
them and
rad.
put peas on there. You know, we can use them all year round.
So cool. So you have a whole different system.
Yep, we're going low and lean over here.
Okay. Why?
Why? These are indeterminates, so we want to give these a lot of room to grow up. These T-posts, I believe, are 8-footers. They're driven into the ground a couple feet, so it's about 6 feet to allow the main leader to grow up.
That's great. Now, these are indeterminate, and sometimes they're also called pole tomatoes. And the reason why they're called pole tomatoes is look how they grow, guys. They're really viney. They're like long, and trying to keep this in a tomato cage is a battle you are going to lose. And this also helps you prune and stay on top of it. So like, I can easily tell, I go up from the bottom and I can see you've been slacking because there's 2 main suckers right here that you need to take off the plant. Oops. But as you take them off, you keep winding this around, or you use plant clips. So what variety is this?
Here we have some cherries and lucid gems.
Oh, fabulous. And this one, why did you do it differently?
Yeah, so what we have going on here, you can see there's 2 leaders, kind of. We're allowing one other branch to really take off here, and part of that is we're just normal gardeners. We're normal people, and we've been battling with gophers. They suck the whole plant right down into the hole. And we can either take this off, stick it in some water, let it root out, or just let it grow up and use this space that we already had set aside.
And I want to show something really cool to the viewers. This is a great example. So when you're thinking about suckers and you're confused, because it can be very confusing, this is always a great process or practice to go through. Start at the bottom and find your way up the plant and look at, I call it an armpit. Maybe it's an elbow, whatever you want. It's a what?
Axial.
An axial, I don't know, armpit sounds better to me.
That's better than crotch, that's usually what I call it.
It's some body part, and in that body part grows what is going to become another tomato plant. And so these get pulled off, and here's a prime reason why they get pulled off. So I'm gonna take this one off because it's easy to see, and this one off, it's easy to see. But as we go up, and we find our first cluster of tomatoes, we want all of the energy to go here. We don't want it to get sidelined by this, which is why it's called a sucker. It's going to literally suck the energy from the tomatoes. So we want that guy to come off so that the energy comes up here. And we keep doing it on both of these, whether it's 1 liter or 2 liters. We want to make sure suckers are removed on an indeterminate tomato so that you get as much energy into this cluster as possible. So I'm looking at your garden and I see corn, I see squash, I see cucumbers, I see tons of direct sown seeds. Why did you start them? It's May, and why now?
Well, because you told me to, Bridget. That's why.
You Googled that. You didn't listen to me.
No, I did. I listened to you. The temperatures are warm enough. The soil is warm enough, so the seeds are going to pop up.
Yes.
And also, a lot of these direct sown seeds are big enough that they can survive outside. They can push through bigger particulates of soil, and they certainly have done that. And so you thought I direct sowed this, didn't you?
Yeah, it looks direct sowed.
I did not. Nature did. Some bird or one of our kids ate a pumpkin or something, and it made its way here. And this is one of the happy accidents of life where it's in a perfect spot. It's right next to my squash, but that's okay. I'm going to let this vine out off to the side.
Yep.
The same with this Cosmo. We didn't plant this. We planted them last year, and they just come up, and that's just a testament to good soil and irrigation.
And irrigation, yeah. I want to mention that we just did a farm class, and the theme of the farm class is always about moisture in your beds. A really key component to having really happy soil, especially in zone 9 and 10, is keeping moisture in your soil. If you let your soil completely dry out and become the Sahara Desert, you're going to kill off all of the work that you've done, the worms, the microbes, everything, and seeds are not going to germinate. And these happy accidents are fabulous, and you know, this happens because you have had moisture in the soil. We've gotten a lot of rain, but also you're still running your irrigation, right?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we've got it on.
Moisture in the soil keeps the worms alive. Worms keep the microbes alive, like microbes keep plants alive. It's all part of the system, baby.
Can I file a complaint with you?
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
Every time that I grow basil, it's only May 1st, and it's going to flower already.
This is happening because the days are getting longer. There's nothing, unless you want to stop the sunshine from rising, there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, I guess we
So what you need to do is just harvest harder.
make some pesto.
And I recommend that you harvest further down on the neck. So instead of just doing the tiny little tip here, go down further to maybe the next node. Go way down here. That's going to make way bushier plants, because if you keep only doing the tiny tip,
keep going.
you're going to slow down the process, but you're not actually really going to make it super bushy. See, in here there's these little tiny little, like this guy,
Axials.
perfect in the armpit of the plant, and those will get nice and big and beautiful if you take the top off. So you just need to hop to it and make some pesto, kid. Okay, so we're here in these amazing looking onions, which we posted a video last year, and I was like, look at this onion, because it was amazing. These guys are getting there, but when did you plant them?
These were planted in the fall.
Okay.
Yep, so they are coming along, but actually here. The gopher strikes again. This is about how big they are right now.
Oh,
so
no.
not ready yet, but the plants themselves look big, so that can be a really kind of tricky thing with onions and other root veggies. Looks big.
And you could actually harvest it when it's at the size that's fine. People are asking us a lot of questions right now when you harvest your garlic and your onions. And you can harvest them early, but you're forfeiting all the time that the flavor really gets to develop. And I want an onion twice that size, don't you, right?
Yeah, I want
big old
size.
fat. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what you want. So luckily, we put a gopher trap in here. Hopefully we'll get that guy. But you also got to remember, this is beautiful, but it needs to come off. So this is the flower of the onion, and leaving it on is just sucking energy from your plants, and it really does nothing for it. Okay, so instead of me interrogating you on what every single thing is in the garden, why don't you go around and show everybody what you're planting and why, and give our viewers in Zone 9 and 10 what their garden in May should look like.
I love getting to do this because usually we're at your garden, which is what a seed company garden looks like.
Yes.
But this is a real garden.
Yeah, this is
yours
a garden.
isn't real.
It's not real, it's fake.
It's a fake garden.
But yeah, show us what you're doing.
AI-generated garden. Okay, cool. Let's go. Okay, so we talked about direct sowing earlier. Right here, we've got the wonderful new variety that we're carrying, the Caroselli Lucchesi. It is a cucumber, but I'm really excited about this one is it doesn't need any trellising. It's a bush cucumber. Like, think of a squash, how it's just a bush that sends out leaves. That's what this cucumber is going to do. So, super stoked on this. You'll notice this white powder around here. Brigitte and I just got done shooting a video on DE, or diatomaceous earth. Stay tuned. You're going to find out exactly what that's for. A lot of you already know. It's to kill insects, protect your little babies, but we have a full video coming out. Just next door, we've got squash seeds planted. You can't see them. You can see the evidence of them because I have sifted some soil that you can just tell that there's I could not think of the word. It's not vermiculite.
Perlite.
Perlite. Before we go into this, just turn around real quick and look what...
Sorry guys, baby wants strawberries. Yeah, I think I've eaten all of them. I hope your kids aren't mad.
The reason I wanted to bring it up is, what is this really weird shaped rectangle? I've taken a board, and as I planted the seed, I've used it to cover up and keep a lot of that moisture in and bad guys out. When I say bad guys, I mean neighborhood cats that are digging, crows. So I used a board for that just because I had it lying around. Then I ran out of board, so I came over and I used a cover to a Thai takeout container with a little weight on it so it didn't fly off. If you use this method, you're not going to want to keep them on for more than maybe 3 or 4 days depending on how fast they germinate. You always want to check, because if you leave them on too long, obviously they're not going to push the board out of the way and reach for that sun. We've got bush beans, our Landreth stringless, just got put in this weekend, they're not up yet. We've got a volunteer sweet potato, because obviously we didn't get all the sweet potatoes when we harvested them from this bed earlier. And it just popped up. So that's one of the beautiful things about sweet potatoes. They just keep growing and growing and growing. As we mentioned, we've got flowers. We've got these volunteer cosmos. We've got tons of flowers here, because remember, it's not all about food. The pollinators need something to attract them to pollinate our plants, and that's what we've done here. We try to put it right in the middle to attract all the wonderful bees and butterflies. Here we are at what I call our corn bed, because we grow corn in it. This is a crop of the Martian Jewels that I'm super excited about. We did about a 5-foot by 5-foot block. In a couple months, this is going to be, as they say back in Indiana, knee-high by the 4th of July. So stoked about that. Guys, I have never had peppers look this healthy actually in the ground before. I do great until they get about that tall. Then they get wimpy and leggy. But this year, the stars aligned. I listened to Brigitte, did all the tips that I've learned from her. And we've got about 8 bell peppers, the California Wonder. We've got YOLO. I'm just so excited about Pepper Alley. But the reason I'm showing you this is it's about May. The nighttime temperatures are above 50 degrees. So these are perfectly fine being outside. They've been out for over a week now with no noticeable effects, and they're continuing to grow. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have some good peppers this year. Okay, and lastly, we've got our, not pumpkins, as Brigitte says, pumpkins. It's got another P in there. These are the Cinderellas, and what I've done is given these guys plenty of space in the back amongst our trees, because south is that way. I know that these are gonna grow and they're gonna be reaching for the sun. And then we've got a little hillside down here that I just let the vines go wherever they may. And last year this worked out great. I've got a a little ring to catch the water. So pumpkins need a lot of water. So a lot of people, when they plant them, they'll actually plant them in a divot in the soil. They'll actually dig down. So when you water, that water actually has a place to sit and soak down into the roots and doesn't roll off immediately. That's what I've tried to create with these rings. So let's go check in with Brigitte and see if she's asleep or, I don't know, drunk off strawberry wine, whatever she's doing. I can't say that. She can't be drunk. She's pregnant. There's pumpkins. That's about it right now for the vegetables. I want to switch spots with John, and he's going to take you on a tour of our orchard.
All right, first up we have the Pakistani mulberry. The fruits are really starting to form really nicely here, and actually the first one to show some color down here as well. Oh, I just broke it.
Eat it. Eat it.
Pretty good. Kind of still grassy. It's developing its flavor still. Other trees we have going on right now, if you saw the videos with Craig and Brigitte, you probably recognize this little avocado. He's coming along nicely, survived the transplant so far, and we've added in the kind of wind protection, if you will, with these 3 stakes, all loose so it's not going to rub up and ruin the bark of the tree, but enough to keep it stable, especially when the winds come through the canyon here, making sure that it doesn't get totally blown over. Now, one thing you'll notice if you get really close, this is all brand new growth. When we transplanted it, all the leaves fell off. If you're transplanting an avocado tree, that's okay, don't get worried. It can survive that transplant, but making sure that we give it plenty of mulch to keep in all that moisture, making sure we're watering it. Moving along, we have the multi-graft apple tree, and you can already see the progression of seasons. This is our earliest variety. This guy is already pretty nice size, and then others, you know, smaller coming along, and then the later season just barely starting to put out new growth, not even any flowers yet. So the nice thing about this apple tree is it's supposed to give apples over a much longer period of time. The downside, of course, is each graft is really fighting for all the energy, and none have really done quite as well as one apple tree probably would on its own.
She's throwing stuff at us.
Is that a pea?
War.
Oh, nasturtium seeds. Oh gosh, nasturtium is gonna be everywhere. Up here we have our Bear's Lime Tree. This is from City Farmers, great nursery over here in San Diego. And you'll notice there are some flowers. Most of the flowers have already dropped, have become pollinated, and we have little fruit coming in. And you'll notice there's only little fruit. We haven't left any mature fruit on this tree. We've taken it all off to allow the plant to really focus on putting out new growth and producing new fruit, not trying to keep and hold on to that already mature fruit. If you're not growing the Peruvian ground cherries, get on the website right now, grow them. These are so good. I can eat so many of these all day. And this plant has been here for years. We hack it down and it just keeps on growing back with a vengeance every year. Inside the Nectaplum, tons of fruit coming in, delicious. We've thinned it somewhat, probably should thin it more, but it's just the best tasting fruit known to man, so it's hard for us to take it off. But next to that we have more stone fruit. This is another multi-graft, has peach, plum, nectarine, and apricot all in one. Again, similar to the apple tree, we see some fruits already coming along very nicely, while other of the branches are just barely starting to flower. We have just the peach, only the peach, no grafts going on here. It's been flowering lately, just starting to see the first fruits coming in here, and this tree was totally bare just a month ago. So all the foliage, all the flowers, and now fruit are all new. If you're in a colder zone, zone 8, zone 7, no worries, temperatures are still starting to warm up and your trees will be here soon.
I gotta interrupt the nasturtium seed war. We're done?
We're spreading nasturtium all over your finely seeded lawn.
As if we need that, right? So we're done. We showed everybody the garden.
That was the May garden? Yeah, getting some practice in with these kids.
Yeah, these will give you lots of practice. Is it a boy or a girl? Boy, right?
Boy,
okay, yeah.
So,
lots of energy you're gonna need to save up for these boys running around.
But that was the May garden, and we want to hear what yours looks like, so please share shoot us a comment, tell us what your garden looks like. Maybe it doesn't look like that, but that's okay. Everyone's garden is different. As long as you're out there and you're growing, that's all that matters, right guys?
Yes.
Yeah!
What's your favorite thing to eat in the garden?
Cucumbers and strawberries.
I just ate all your strawberries. I'm really sorry.
She's in trouble.
Get her!
Get her!